Hey guys, it's Diana, and today I thought I would talk about some unusual things I like about books. So the first most obvious unusual thing I like about books is the smell of them. And I am talking like old book smell. It smells good. And new book smell. Yes, they smell good. I don't know what to say. They just smell wonderful. And I know that that's not uncommon. I know plenty of people love the way books smell, regardless of their age. Another unusual thing I like about books is when they contain their own mythology. You know when a book actually has little excerpts from other texts within their own universe? I think Scythe by Neil Shusterman opens each chapter with a journal entry from a former Scythe, which is really cool because it gives me a better understanding of the world in which this takes place. Long Lankin is a horror book. It opens with this creepy poem the villagers sing about this mysterious Long Lankin that steals kids away. And there's got to be a word for this. I think I actually knew the word for this at one point, but I freaking love it. I think it's amazing. This next one is controversial, and I want someone to explain to me why, but deckled edges. I think deckled edges are really neat. I like them. They give a good texture to the book. It's easier to turn the pages. Like, what is it with this hate for deckled edges? I don't understand. Genuinely, I don't understand. Another thing I like that's very common is maps. I love it when a book has a map. Not that I actually use the maps because I'm not a visual person, but it's nice to have it there in case I'm like, wait a minute, which country are we in again? How far is that from the other country we're in? How did we get there? I don't ever actually do that, but I do like having the option to have some sort of visual representation of our travel through their world. Plus, of course, it adds another layer to it, the same way that books that contain their own mythology do, where it feels like the world is more complete and I'm able to better immerse myself in it. Typography covers. I am a sucker for fonts. I freaking love it when books use good fonts. I also pay a lot of attention to the dedication, if there's an opening quote in the first few pages, and what that quote could possibly mean with regard to the narrative, and the acknowledgement section. I am forever reading the acknowledgement section, and they're fantastic because some people like mention bloggers or like people I know in there, and it's just really freaking cool. And I'm not gonna lie, I've teared up reading acknowledgements sometimes because I'm just like, this is so nice to be included in this moment. Even if I have nothing to do with it, it's just like really nice to see someone be grateful for everything that went into this thing that they created, and also that they get to put this thing that they created out into the world. Like, I just really love the acknowledgement section. Another thing I really like is chapter titles. I think they're cool, and this doesn't really happen all that often anymore. Most chapters are just numbered, but I genuinely enjoy chapter headings. And usually if there are chapter headings, there's an index somewhere where you can sort of see all the chapters lined out. And I often reread my favorite parts of books, so if you have a chapter heading, I'm more likely to remember where that part occurred, and I can go back and reread it much easier. I don't remember the number of the chapter that the thing I liked happened in, but I will remember the name of the chapter the thing I like happened in. Yeah, see, it's got like a table of contents index. It's just, they're handy, and I don't know why more books don't do it anymore. It used to be really common, but now I feel like it's not common at all. I also really like font changes in books to denote something specific, whether it be a flashback or whether it be someone else's handwriting. It's just another thing that happens in certain books to help me better immerse myself in the story. Plus, I hate it when I'm reading a book and we transition a flashback and I don't realize it. So altering your text in some way is a good indicator that something has shifted within the narrative and you should pay attention. Plus, there's also like parts where it's like handwritten script in, this is V. Schwab's The Archived. This is denoting clues that she has found written on this piece of paper that she finds. And it's just another cool way to use text to denote changes within the story. A lot of middle grade novels actually open with a picture with the text to the opening chapter. I think that's really neat. I love it when art is included in books in any way, but I particularly love it when they do something like this. Because how cool does this look, first of all? And second, it really enhances the reading experience, at least for me. This next one is rare, but mixed media format books. This entire novel, this entire series, is told via like transmissions, textual communications, chat logs, security footage, narration, blueprints, and diagrams. It's just actually incredibly original. It's the first book I read that was completely unique, and I'd never read anything like it before. It uses so many different ways to tell the story, whether it's from graphics like this that illustrate certain moments that take place. I'm not going to really go through that because I don't want to spoil anything. To like a countdown, to a security footage summary, to like actual narration, to blueprints of different ships. Like, it's incredibly cool. It's a very visual story as well as a textual story. And I was totally here for it. In fact, this is a 5-star read of mine just because the format was so incredible. The story is also incredible. It blew my mind. Another thing I really like is when you use little art to break up chapters in the story or break up portions of the story. In fact, there's a little art near the page number 2. Holly Black does this throughout the Cool Print series, and I just always really enjoyed it. Like, instead of using the asterisks to denote that there was a shift in time, she uses little swords, and it's just really cool. I think you're getting the point that I just like illustrations within novels. I just really like it when a novel does anything differently than what I'm used to seeing. I also really like when cover elements are beveled. Like, you can feel the texture underneath of them. I just think that that's really cool. I like more matte textures in books, even though it shows fingerprints a lot, especially if it's a darker color, but I dislike glossy. I don't know why, I've always disliked glossy things, but it's a good way to pull your attention to certain details within a cover, and I'm always a sucker for that. I really like cover redesigns if we're not already in the middle of the series. Like, this Hunger Games cover redesign is fantastic. The original Hunger Games covers are not the greatest, and I was like, I really don't like these covers, even though I love this book. When I saw the 10th anniversary editions, I was like, I need those covers in my life. Like, I desperately need those covers in my life. And I will buy multiple copies of a book if I like their new cover. I also like books that find different ways to format their story. Like, this is a series of lessons that are being taught to the people in the finishing school. So it's like lesson 7, the proper place for sooties. Lesson 12, proper communication in social situations. It's just a really cool way to head your chapter to give the reader an idea of what's going to be happening. And it also adds to the overall effect / world building, and I think that that's really neat. I think Chuck Palahniuk's Survivor actually takes place with the last chapter first. Like, it starts from the end, and I think it's about a plane crash in which they recover a black box to find out what happened. So it's going backwards to forwards, which was really neat. So yeah, there's my list of unusual things that I like about books, or things that books do that I like. Aside from the overall experience of reading, I really appreciate it when books take risks with their readership, because it's creative and it's a different way to tell the story, and you never know how it's going to land on different people. I'm one of the people that are going to be like, oh wow, that's different, that's new, that's kind of cool. Plus, the way we tell stories is always evolving. And I appreciate the writers that are willing to push the envelope a little bit and maybe come up with new ways to tell stories, or new ways to get people interested in stories. And the reason I'm making this video is because I've been listening to a lot of fiction podcasts. Welcome to Night Vale, obviously everyone's already heard of that one. King Falls AM most recently. And I was thinking about the ways in which we can tell stories and how they're constantly changing due to technology or due to someone trying something different and it working well. So yeah, those are just some of the things I appreciate about books and reading and stories, and things that I found really cool or interesting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I would love that. And hit the bell thing so you know when I make new videos, because you wouldn't want to miss that, would you? Alright, so yeah, tell me some things that you like that books do. Some things you found unique or interesting. Or even talk about some of your favorite illustrations in books. I'm always looking for new cool things. As always, have a fantastic day and be excellent to each other. Bye! This is my unicorn necklace, and you can't see it, but I'm wearing unicorn tights. Let me see if I can get these on the camera. There we go! Look at that! Ow! Ow! I've been going to the gym, and it was like day not too long ago. That was a mistake. Whew. But yeah, I love my unicorn tights. They're so cool. They're like the coolest. I fucking love unicorns. Anyway, yeah. That's just, I don't know why. I'm sleepy. I have my hair in like a small braid crown because that's not quite long enough to actually do a full braid crown, so it took forever. But my makeup actually looks awesome now that I'm looking at it. I mean, check that contour. And I almost never contour because I'm pale as fuck.